Order. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the January 25th, 2024 meeting, our first meeting of the year, meeting of the Village of Pinehurst Historic Preservation Commission. The purpose of the commission is to decide applications for certificates of appropriateness for new construction or major work within the Pinehurst Historic District, and to do so by conducting hearings and making findings of fact when such applications come before us. By law, the Commission is directed to take no action except to prevent construction or alterations that would be incongruous with the special character of the Historic District. I'm Richard Vincent, Chair of the Commission, and I will ask each Commissioner, starting from my far left, to state his or her name for the record.
Angelique Fabiani.
Richard Vincent.
Roxanne Vaitkus.
David Herring.
Thank you. Kara Mathis, another member, is absent, but we do have a quorum, so we can proceed. Also present, we have several staff members, but I believe Ms. Carpenter, Maria, will be doing the heavy lifting. First order of business is to review and approve the minutes of our last meeting. All commissioners have been provided with copies of the draft minutes. Does any commissioner have or request any changes, any suggestions?
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I move to approve the minutes of the December 21st, 2023 regular meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second from David Herring. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nay? No. The motion passes. The minutes are approved. I will now have a motion to enter into the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by David Herring. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Fabiani. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No nays. We will now move into the public hearing. This is a quasi-judicial hearing. That means that anyone desiring to testify must be sworn in, and the commission is required to consider only facts presented in this hearing. The proceedings also video recorded. I asked the commissioners if they have visited any of the sites on our docket today and whether they have had any ex parte communications with respect to any of the cases we'll be considering today. I'll start on my left.
Visited both sites, no ex parte communications.
I visited both sites, no ex parte communication.
I visited both sites and no ex parte communication.
I visited neither of the sites.
So no ex parte communication.
Therefore, no
Okay.
communication.
Thank you. In each case that the commission will hear this afternoon, staff will first present a summary of the application, the staff's evaluation of the extent to which the application complies with the commission's standards for such an application, or whether it raises any issues that require further information, the staff's comments on the application, and, where appropriate, the staff's recommendations for commission action. The application and its supporting documents, as well as the staff's detailed report, will then be entered into the record. Commissioners will then have an opportunity to question staff about this report and testimony. Next, the applicant or the applicant's representatives will have an opportunity to provide any additional information supporting the application and to address any questions or issues identified in staff's testimony. Commissioners will then have an opportunity to question the applicant witnesses. After the applicant's presentation, if any member of the public wishes to present any evidence either in support of or in opposition to the application, please come forward and at that time identify yourself. We'll have you come up to either the standing microphone or the seated chairs here with the microphones. I will swear you in at that time and give you an opportunity to present any reasons why you believe that the application should be granted or denied. Please remember the commission is interested in facts that will help us decide whether the proposed work would be congruous within the special character of the Pinehurst Historic District. As chair, I have the right to exclude testimony that is not relevant to that subject, but I'm not required to do so. Commissioners will then have an opportunity to question you about your testimony. If the applicant or staff wishes to respond to your testimony, I'll permit them to do so. I will now swear in our member of staff all members of staff. That's just you, Maria. If you would stand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to all cases on the docket this evening shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. I think we're ready to proceed to our first case.
All right. The purpose of this public hearing is to consider a request for a major certificate of appropriateness within the Pinehurst Historic District for painting the exterior and removing or replacing windows and doors at 230 Midland Road. The property is identified as Moore County Parcel ID number 000-16936. The property owner is William Thomas, and the applicant is Daniel Farrell. So the applicant is proposing to replace the front door. They will be removing a side door and replacing it with brick to match the existing siding. They will be replacing 2 sliding glass doors in the rear of the dwelling with windows to match the existing windows. And they will be repainting the exterior trim and brick with Benjamin Moore Swiss Coffee and removing the existing shutters. The existing structure was built in 1960, and the property is approximately 0.659 acres in size. And this is major work requiring your review because it is the replacement of windows or doors that are not compatible with the existing windows and or doors, and it is eliminating or adding windows and doors. The public hearing was noticed in accordance with the PDO and North Carolina general statutes. And you can see the subject property is in the hashed out area here, and the properties that were notified are outlined in red. So here we have some pictures. This is the existing front door, and this is the proposed design of the front door. This is the door that will be removed and replaced with brick, and the existing shutters that they will be removing. Here are the sliding glass doors on the rear, and they would be replaced with windows similar to those that are on the rear. And then here we have a Benjamin Moore Swiss Coffee swatch, and that'll be the color that they're painting the house. So the applicant has submitted an application and provided additional documentation in an attempt to satisfy the burden of proof. Staff could approve the exterior painting and the shutter removal as minor work. The commission will need to determine if the changes are congruous with the historic district and if they meet the historic district standards. And I'd like to submit into the record the staff report with attachments and exhibits, this presentation, and the application and applicant's materials and exhibits.
Without objection, the materials referred to by staff are admitted into the record. Commissioners, are there any questions for staff? No? Okay. Thank you. We'll now hear from the applicant. I think the applicant is here. Okay, thank you. If you'd kindly come up to the standing microphone. Are you both planning on speaking? Okay, then I'm going to have you both say your names, please, and your last names, if you can spell out your last name. And then please do it clearly in the mic, as we'll pick you up on the recording, and then I'll swear you in after that.
I'm Sarah Farrell, and I'm here on behalf of Dan Farrell, who is the original applicant. And
Would you kindly spell your last name, please?
sure, Farrell.
Thank you.
William Thomas, last name Thomas, Thomas, and I'm the homeowner.
Okay, thank you. I'm now going to swear you in. If you please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to this application shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. If you'd be more comfortable taking a seat, you're welcome to do so up front here, or you're welcome to stand.
I'm fine to stand. Thank you.
Okay. So you've been sworn in. You've heard staff's presentation.
Yes.
This is your opportunity to add anything, clarify, or say anything in support of the application.
The door that we are proposing to remove is what is referred to as the potting room door. It's a secondary door on the front of the house. We would replace it, as Maria said, with brick, and then the house would be painted so it would be seamless, and it would be as if the door was never there. The windows, the sliding doors on the back that are being converted to fixed windows will look in appearance on the exterior and the interior just like the windows that flank the left and right side that were depicted in that image. And I think that's all. I brought some additional material and just some imagery to help visualize if need be that wasn't previously submitted to Maria. We did bring a rendering without the potting room door on the front elevation. And let's see, an image depicting the sliding glass doors converted to windows on the rear elevation, if anybody would like to see those.
Sure, thank you. If you would you be able to bring them
Sure.
up to Maria over here?
Yeah.
If you don't mind, we'll pass them around.
Enter them in as exhibits.
Outside of these materials, is there anything else you'd like to add in support of the application?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you. While Angelique's looking over those, any questions from fellow commissioners of the applicant? Okay, thank you. Give it 60 seconds, you may have some questions.
Sure.
Do I have to publicly state that we now bring those into the record, or is it something staff does? Okay. Okay.
Thank you for offering those renderings. It does help to see everything when it's drawn out.
I understand, yes.
Thank you for that.
I believe that will be Exhibit X, and they will be admitted into the record. Thank you. Okay, so no questions from fellow commissioners of you. Is there any member of the public who wishes to present any evidence either in support or in opposition to the application? This is your opportunity to come forward. Seeing none, and no commissioners have any questions of the applicant, we'll say the record in this case is closed and give the commissioners an opportunity to deliberate if there is any deliberation.
I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay?
I move that the Historic Preservation Commission approve a certificate of appropriateness and find the proposed major work at 230 Midland Road is consistent with the Historic District standards and a big improvement to a nice postmodern house, and is deemed congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District based on the testimony given, the material submitted, and the findings of fact.
Motion made by David Herring. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Roxanne. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Congratulations. You have your COA.
Thanks, everybody.
We will now move on to our second case in record time.
All right, let's do the same thing. Okay, this public hearing is to consider a request for a major certificate of appropriateness within the Pinehurst Historic District for modifications to previously approved COA 2022-00088 at 50 Everett Road. The property is identified as Moore County Parcel ID number 000-18777. The property owners are Timothy and Carol Wright, and the applicant is Mark Wesley Parson Design. So the applicant is proposing to add 2 dormers to the dwelling, one on the rear elevation and the other on the east elevation of the home. The dormers will match all materials and style of the existing dormer that is on the front elevation. The addition of these dormers is necessary for egress from the bunk room and play area. The existing structure is currently under construction, and the property is approximately 0.55 acres in size. And this is major work because it is new construction or additions not considered to be minor work. The public hearing was noticed in accordance with the PDO and the North Carolina General Statutes. And again, you can see the hashed out area is the subject property, and the properties outlined in red were the properties notified. All right, so here we have the location of the two dormers that will be added, dormer number 2 and dormer number 1. The front elevation will not be changed at all. The rear elevation, you'll see dormer number 1. On the east elevation, you'll see just the side of dormer number 2. And on the west elevation, you would see just dormer number 1 peeking out there. And if you're like me and you need a little orientation from east and west, north and south, here we have the east side. This is where the one dormer will be, and the other will be over on the west side over here. So the applicant has submitted an application and provided additional documentation in an attempt to satisfy the burden of proof. The commission needs to decide if the addition of the dormers is congruous with the historic district and meets the historic district standards. And at this time, I'd like to submit into the record the staff report with attachments and exhibits, this presentation, and the application and the applicant's materials and exhibits.
Thank you, Maria. Without objection, materials referred to by staff are admitted into the record. Any of the commissioners have any questions for staff? One question. You said necessity of the dormers connecting the bunk room. Can you explain that? You said they were necessary if you go back.
For egress, to get out.
Egress. Okay, got it.
Additional way to get out.
Out. Okay, got it. Okay. Thanks, Maria. I believe the applicant's here. If you would kindly come forward. Not your first rodeo. Mark, if you would kindly introduce yourself and last name, spell them out.
Mark Parson, P-A-R-S-O-N.
And Amanda Jacoby, J-A-C-O-B-Y.
Thank you. I'll now swear you in. If you could raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to this application shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. So you've been sworn in. You heard staff's presentation. Looks like you have a few things to add.
So the client wanted to add a bunk room on the inside, and so to answer your question, once you have any habitable space, you have to have egress. So we're just meeting building code.
Got it. That was the question. Okay.
They're grandchildren, so they definitely want to make sure that it's safe in case there's ever an emergency.
So it's an outward, the ability to get out.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. It
Got
has to be a certain size. It does match the egress window on the front of the house.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add? Any questions for the applicant from fellow commissioners? Okay. Is there any member of the public who wishes to present any evidence, either in support of or in opposition to the application? This will be your opportunity to come forward.
I do want
Oh.
to add about the dormers. Originally, these are the shingles that are going to go on the dormers, that we want to have on the dormers. Originally, we were going to do cedar shake, but they're cost prohibitive. So we kind of want to get this under our belt at the same time.
Okay.
For the whole roof or just the
Yeah,
dormer?
no, the whole roof.
Whole roof.
And well, Amanda can explain that. They're a thick, they're not a cheap asphalt shingle by any stretch, but they do kind of render what we are trying to accomplish with the cedar shake, but a lot less money. And also with the radiuses, there was a concern that the cedar might wick a little bit, so.
Okay. So for clarity, this is not in the application, but this is something you would like to add.
Well, it
Okay.
is because it's going on the dormer, so therefore you don't want to have the different,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a gray area, but it would be nice not to have to wait a month to get a shingle approved when we're trying to get drywall and the house needs to be dried in.
Understood. Okay.
So it's not on the original application, so for the whole roof, I guess you could do it as a condition for the dormers themselves, but as far as the whole roof, I think that requires another COA.
Would it have to be another whole COA?
I'm okay with it. It's up to me, I'd say.
You're okay?
Okay with it, absolutely.
Well,
I
if
mean,
I'm-
it's sad to see the shakes go, as I'm sure it is for you, but and procedurally, it's fine.
I think from our side, it's not necessarily whether we're comfortable for it yet, that'll come up, but procedurally from the staff, could that be approved in this meeting?
Call it a correction. Say they made a mistake and they're now come forward to fix their mistake.
Can I ask a question?
Make a note then in the motion that it would include the
A
roof
change.
change,
From the original cedar shake that was approved to the new
the asphalt
asphalt
shingles.
shingles?
Can I just ask a question, because I wasn't part of the original a COA? Was the original COA, was the roof shake and the dormers shake, or, so they all match?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what you're saying is you just want to put the architectural shingle asphalt on the roof and dormers
Right.
in lieu of the shake, okay.
Shake is no longer a roofing material. It's being subbed out for.
Yes, I understand. I didn't know if the two were different sometimes, okay.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, whether the dormer was originally
Right,
asphalt
that's what I was
versus
trying to
shake.
understand.
Okay, so from staff's perspective, as long as it's addressed in the motion and it's called out, it could be handled in this meeting and not have to have the applicant come back next month and resubmit a whole new application.
Yeah, just make it clear that you're allowing the change from the originally approved
Yeah.
shake roofing to the asphalt shingles.
Okay. Anything else you would like to add to the application? Okay. Any additional questions for commissioners based on that? No, okay. So we'll go back to any member who's here present from the public. If you wish to present any evidence either in support or in opposition to this application, please come forward at this time and identify yourself. Seeing none, we will move on. Seeing as there's no additional questions, we'll go ahead and the record in this case will be closed and we'll give the commissioners opportunity to deliberate. Any deliberation?
Ready to make a motion.
Okay,
I move that the Historic Preservation Commission approve a certificate of appropriateness and find the proposed major work at 50 Everett Road is consistent with the Historic District standards and is deemed congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District based upon the testimony given, the materials submitted, and the findings of fact. This motion includes substituting asphalt shingles as presented in the meeting in lieu of shakes for the entire roof, including the dormers.
there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Fabiani. There's a motion from Mr. Herring, second from Ms. Fabiani. All the commissioners in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None saying nay. Motion is passed. Congratulations, you have your COA.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful house. Enjoyed watching it come along. That concludes the public hearing. May I now have a motion to close the public hearing and return to the regular commission meeting?
So moved.
From Angelique, motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Herring. All in favor, say aye.
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 Or nay. The motion passes, and we are now in the regular meeting. This is a public meeting, and you are all welcome to stay and observe, but only members of the commission and its staff may speak. Commissioners, you have been provided with a copy of the minor work or staff approvals. Are there any comments to the minor work? Double check and make sure. Okay. Any other business that we need to deal with?
Next meeting.
Next work
Work
session.
session.
Okay. Did Alex disappear very quickly into the night?
So we'll have to accept whatever we propose.
I mean, if we want to work through this and keep the momentum going and try and knock us out, it's,
I will say right now that we currently, and today was the deadline for next month, have no COAs for next
Wow.
month.
Have a 2-hour work session.
But
Knock it
during
out.
the regular meeting,
one came in. When
the
is the-
deadline was at noon today, so
Okay,
I don't see any on my phone. So we have none.
okay. Well, do we want to try and tear into it? It's been, usually the first 30 minutes are negotiating of 1 or 2 words, and then we get into substance. So, I mean, do we want to start at 3 or do we want to start at 4 and go from 4 to 6? Or do we want to start at 3 and go to 5?
If we have no applications, can
There's-
we
there's no-
push that meeting an hour? We have to have the meeting, right, for
For the,
the standard meeting, the regular meeting, even if there are no applications. We'll have draft minutes to approve. No?
no,
All right, yeah, let's. Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with a couple hours.
Why don't, I mean, do we have to have a end time on the work session? Can we
Uh.
say 3 o'clock? I mean, or do we have to announce that in case the public?
It would just be the start. And we can finish when we want to finish.
Why don't we do that?
staff appreciates not being here till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, but
I don't want to
you
be
don't
here till
have to put an
7
end
o'clock
time on
either.
it.
I'm okay with 3 o'clock.
Three's fine.
Why don't we plan on around 2 hours and we can start at 3, and if we're making good
Or
progress.
before we say 3, let me have Shelby check the meeting room,
Okay.
make sure.
Or 4 if it's not.
Yeah. February 22nd. Okay. So our next regular meeting, which at this point appears to be a work session, will be held at, do we say 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock? 3 o'clock on February the 22nd in this room, unless changed. And I'll now ask for a motion to adjourn.
So
I-
moved.
A
Second.
motion from Angelique, second from David Herring. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes, and we are adjourned. Thank you. Did we break the record?